Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Jason. I'm here to help you out on your financial journey. So first tell me, what brings you in today? Okay, so you suddenly have a $3,000 debt that you didn't expect. Yeah. Now, can you tell me how this came about? So a massage parlor specifically installed a camera and a screen just for you without asking your permission and suddenly charged you for it. Okay. Now, what is your current financial situation in relation to this charge? So you currently don't have the money to pay for it. So you'll have to pay it off in a few installments. Now, is there any other debt you're working on? Okay, you got some credit card debt? Ooh, and student loans, okay. Okay, this may seem like a daunting task, but you've come to the right place. We are going to help you put your finances back on track. So, the first thing we recommend for all our clients is to put away $500 into an emergency fund. I know these bills seem daunting right now, but you need to get a win first. And you need some buffer just in case an unexpected event comes again. Now, we recommend putting your emergency fund in a high interest savings account, either that or a money market account. So, I recommend you look at what your current bank offers in this regard. Look up their money market accounts and their high interest savings accounts, and compare their interest rates, and whichever one has a higher interest rate, use that for your emergency fund. Okay, yeah, so you've seen some of the other banks online. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, there are some smaller, lesser known financial institutions that offer very high yielding savings accounts or money market accounts. And these can be a good option, but you do have to be very careful with them. So what some of these institutions do is they save funds by having difficult to use websites and very little personnel to help with customer service. So on the one hand, they can give you better rates, but often you can be locked out of your account with little help. So if you want to explore these options, there are 3 steps I highly recommend you take at first. So the first thing you want to do is deposit a very small amount into your high yield savings account. Again, these are the high yield savings accounts that are not from your current bank. These are from the smaller institutions that offer higher rates. So first, give a very small deposit. Then wait a month and make sure they give you the advertised APR. And lastly, withdraw a small amount from that account. You want to make sure that you can deposit money successfully and easily, that they give you the advertised APR, and that you can successfully and easily withdraw money from your account. Oh, what's APR? That stands for annual percentage rate. Oh yeah, and you've heard of APY, good. What's the difference? So APY stands for annual percentage yield. Usually these banks will advertise their APY, their annual percentage yield, which is higher than their APR. APR is the percent you would earn every year without compound interest. And APY is the percent you earn every year, including compound interest. Okay, you look confused, so let me give you an example. Let's say you put $1,000 into an account with an APR of 10% every year. This would mean you would be on track to make $100 a year from that account. However, usually this interest is given to you monthly, or a 12th of it is given to you each month during the year. This means that after the first month, you'll get a 12th of that $100 interest. In turn, during the second month, February, you will not just get interest on your initial $1,000 deposit, but you will also get interest on the interest you receive in January. And then in March, you'll get interest on your $1,000 deposit, the interest you received in January, and the interest you received in February. Again, okay, maybe I'm making this too confusing and I should be more concrete with my numbers. So let me pull up a calculator here. So let's say you deposit $1,000 with an APR of 10% into the bank. So every year, when not including compounded interest, you'll get $100 because 10% of 1,000 is $100. Now each month you're gonna get a 12th of $100, which would be about $8.33. So after January, you now have $1,008 in your account. So come February, you will again take 10% of this amount divided by 12. Which is again going to be about $8, except this time it's $8.40 as opposed to $8.33. We can add this back into your original balance. And now you'll have $1,016 in your account. So APY will extrapolate and it will give you the total percent you'll make in a year when including that compounded interest. Now, after you have $500 in your account, you're going to need to tackle your debt. So can you explain to me your current strategy for dealing with debt? Right. So you just keep making those minimum payments and maybe sometimes a little bit more? Right. So here, we recommend a strategy called the debt snowball method. What you do here is you tackle the smallest debt first. You use extra effort, you save a little bit more money during each month to just get rid of that smallest debt. And it's kind of like a snowball. So then all the money, all the minimum payments you would have been making to that debt, you then put towards the next smallest debt. You get that one out of there. And one by one, each of your debts fall away and you can move on with your life. I know it can be tempting to spend money on other things, but you have to understand that debt will only get in your way and the dangers of compound interest when it's not in your favor. For example, even just $10. If you would have $10 of debt today at 20% interest over the course of 40 years, the single $10 debt after 40 years will become $14,000 in debt. So if you can put $10 today towards the debt with a 20% interest, you've saved yourself $14,000 in the long run. That's why we recommend it. Okay. So you feel spread very thin. Like you're not sure where you can get this money to pay these debts. Okay, well, did you fill out the expense report we asked of you? Okay, here, let me see that. Okay, so obviously some of these things cannot go. We recommend here you always pay yourself first, or in other words, you make sure to cover your necessary expenses, your groceries, your utilities, your rent. Clearly none of that can go. However, I notice here you've been eating out a lot. I know you want to enjoy life, but just temporarily, you can take certain measures to set yourself up financially for a successful future. And even still, you do not have to avoid eating delicious food. You just may have to take some extra effort to buy the ingredients and prepare it yourself. What may cost $20, $30 at a restaurant can simply cost about $5 if you make it yourself. I think that's a big area where you could save significant amounts of money on your expenses. The next one I'm noticing is your streaming services. Seems like you're spending around $120 a month just on streaming services. It seems like you're subscribed to almost every one. And again, I know this can be hard, and I know you also want to enjoy your life. So we're not here to make life worse or to cause you to be miserable. We don't even recommend that you cut this out entirely. But I do have to challenge you. Do you actually regularly use all these streaming services every month? If not, is there one or two or maybe three you could even go without? Because then you could save yourself $15, $30, $40 a month just by not watching and not paying for streaming services you already barely watch. And lastly, I'm noticing on here that you sure seem to be getting a lot of massages. These can be quite expensive. I understand that sometimes they're free, but this massage parlor seems to like to make that decision at the last moment. Do they even tell you when you book an appointment? Oh, you don't book an appointment. Okay, so maybe when you book an appointment, at that point you can see if it's going to be free or not. And if it's going to cost too much, you'll have to decline. That's what we'd recommend. Now again, we're not here to ruin your life, so is there any way you could get a friend to help you out? Oh, you already have a friend who would do that. Well, this is ridiculous. Why in the world are you spending so much on massages if you already have a friend who's going to give you a face massage when you need it? Clearly, this is way too much expenses you do not need. Okay, I think we made good progress today. I hope to see you in another appointment. Hopefully after we've cleared out a lot of this debt, we can start talking about retirement and savings for the future. But for now, you've got to focus on right here, right now, and making sure you don't go over the cliff with these debts, and making sure you can pay back this massage parlor and this mysterious expense they suddenly forced on you. All right. I look forward to seeing you again soon.